They thought he was not important enough to have a real name. They thought that a former slave could not do much to change the world. They were wrong. This slave left a legacy, and we still talk about him today, 2,000 years later. But who is this man, and why doesn't he have a real name? How did a mere slave become the mentor of the Emperor Marcus Aurelius? Did he really have a son? And most importantly, how did he leave a legacy behind him, even though he never wrote anything down? Let's rewind a bit. In the year 55 AD, Epictetus was literally born into slavery as the son of a slave woman. He never met his real family. His name in Greek means quite literally the acquired one, the one who is bought. What's his real name, we will never know. Despite all that, Epictetus didn't care. He just wanted to become undefeatable by life's blows, both mentally and physically. As a young boy, he was bought by Epictetus, the man who was Nero's secretary. For those who don't know, Nero is the emperor who forced another Stoic, Seneca, to commit suicide. Epictetus was growing angry by Epictetus's behavior. The guy was unshakable. One day, envious of Epictetus's mental strength, his cruel master started twisting his leg to break his spirit. Epictetus warned him, saying, "You will break my leg, and I won't be able to help around the house." Snap. Epictetus's leg broke. Did he cry? No. Did he become angry? Neither. "I told you so," Epictetus calmly said to his master. A legend was being born. All his life, Epictetus was walking with a limp. Despite that, he never blamed anyone, only himself. "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters," he said. A slave managed to endure the pain of a broken leg, and we cry because she didn't respond within an hour, or because the food was not hot enough. Man up, Epictetus used to tell himself to endure difficult times. Apart from bravery, one of the character traits that made him so likable was his humor. There is a hilarious story about a man visiting the house of Epictetus's master, Epictetus. The guy was down to his last 1.5 million sesterces, more than $3 million today, and was hoping to get some help from Epictetus's rich pocket. "How could you possibly endure it for so long?" the owner of Epictetus asked the greedy man. Epictetus could not believe what he was hearing. He thought they were joking. He thought that they couldn't be so stupid. Wait, who is the slave here, me or them? He must have asked himself. These men might be bodily free, but they are both enslaved to money and power, he thought. This is when Epictetus learned life's biggest truth and changed the course of history forever. In life, there are things within our control and things outside of it. He named it the dichotomy of control, and understood that this was God's long-kept secret. The dichotomy of control became the most powerful principle of Stoicism. He later said, "Happiness and freedom begin with a clear understanding of that principle. But what is really within and what is outside our control?" Epictetus didn't quite understand that in the beginning, until he saw his master and his friends flattering the Emperor Nero all day, kissing his feet and bribing him to get higher positions in the empire. Is this freedom? He asked himself. He soon realized that whatever is not fully up to us can make us enslaved and bound to sadness. Up to us are our actions, choices, wants, desires, and everything we choose to avoid. Not up to us is death and health, wealth and poverty, other people's opinions, the weather, wars, etc. Nobody but you is putting that cigarette in your mouth. No one is skipping these workouts for you, but only yourself. The good thing is that since you are the problem, you are also the solution. These things are under your control to change. Epictetus explained the devastating consequences of caring about things outside our control in one phrase. If you want your wife and kids to live forever, then you are a fool, because you wish for the impossible, he said. It's easy for him to say this because he didn't have any children or wife, you might point out. But you are wrong. More on that later. Epictetus would later warn his students against the disease to control externals, saying, "If you put happiness on things you don't control, such as the validation of others, you will inevitably suffer and be miserable until you have what you want, if you ever get what you want." He also shared with them a life-changing strategy that eliminated most of their problems. "Your only goal in life," he said, "is to split everything that happens to you into these two categories, under and not under my control. And when something outside your control happens, you have to forget about it immediately, exactly because there's nothing you can do about it." We can't cover all of Epictetus's work in just one video. So if you want to learn how his philosophy is still changing people's lives, join our newsletter in the description below. Epictetus also wanted to be free and become a philosopher. This was under his control, so he freed himself through education. But how did his writings reach Marcus Aurelius's hands, especially if he didn't write anything down? Epictetus left Rome as a new man and went to Nicopolis, the city of Win, as it literally means in Greek. Was this just a coincidence of what was about to come? Who knows? But he was now alone and had nothing in his possession. Did he hold on to anger for his former master? Was he angry at the world for treating him this way? He would have all the right to do so, but he didn't. This guy knew there was not enough time to waste blaming his circumstances. He had to act now and seize every moment. "You are an actor in a play," he said. "Your role is to play the character assigned to you as well as possible. But the selection belongs to another." Epictetus quickly became famous, and people all over the Roman Empire attended his classes. One of them was the Emperor Hadrian, who later adopted a young boy and gave him a copy of Epictetus's discourses. The name of this young boy was Marcus Aurelius, and would one day apply Epictetus's teachings and show everyone how a Stoic can lead. The students of Epictetus were mostly males. In his lectures, we are told there was obedience, but also a lot of humor between Epictetus and his students. He never missed an opportunity to tease them when his students expressed an interest in a young girl. "How can you call yourselves free when you are slaves, even of a little girl?" he told them when they were mesmerized by a beautiful woman. Epictetus was constantly warning them against the danger of first impressions and how they can allure you into a trap. "Be careful. Do not get carried away by your impression of her," he used to say. "Wait for me, a little impression. Let me put you to the test and see what you really are," is a famous quote of his that still survives. "You don't know her character," he told them. "You don't know her values. You cannot possibly know whether she will cause you pain or not, just by looking at her external appearance. The only thing you know is that she's pretty. That's it." But what did Epictetus say about sex? You'd expect a man at his age and during that period to be close-minded and all that, but his opinion is quite fascinating for a Stoic. Try to resist sex and bodily pleasures as much as possible before marriage, but if you must indulge in it, do so with moderation and never do anything that is not socially acceptable. Most people don't know it, but Epictetus actually adopted a young boy that he would otherwise die and raised it with the help of another woman. This was the perfect opportunity for Epictetus to put into practice what he had been teaching all this time. He knew that both the woman and the boy were just gifts from nature that would one day be gone. They weren't his possessions. His only possession was a quite expensive silver lamp. Epictetus never felt fear and always kept his door at home unlocked. One night, a thief broke in and stole his lamp. Epictetus started chasing him, but suddenly stopped. "You fool," he said, blaming himself. "Don't you know that you can lose only what you have?" Epictetus remembered the rich men in the Roman Empire who, despite getting more money, were also becoming more anxious and wretched. This was weird to him. Money should take the stress away from you, not the other way around, the Stoics believed. So, if money isn't giving you more freedom, what good is it? Epictetus thought. The next day he bought a cheaper lamp. This way, even if the lamp broke, he wouldn't care, because he now only had what he could afford to lose. There was something, however, no one could take away from Epictetus: his virtuous character and values. Epictetus was trying to motivate his students to act with courage, self-control, treat everyone fairly, and be wise enough to make better decisions. But he soon realized that they procrastinated way too often and were choosing soft pleasures like drinking and gossiping. "Enough is enough," he told them one day. "How long are you going to wait till you demand the best of yourself? I don't care that you read and that you attend these lectures," he told them. "Show me what you read and what you have learned. Show me your principles in action, not in theory." A Stoic doesn't talk about it. A Stoic is about it. First say to yourself who you want to become, and then do what you must do to become that person, he reminded them. And everyone listened. So, how do we know so much about a slave who never wrote anything? Thankfully for us, a dedicated student of his, Arrian, used to always take notes during his lectures. He included all of Epictetus's teachings in a book called The Discourses, and later summarized it into a smaller one, the Enchiridion. The name was not given by chance. Enchiridion literally means ready at hand in Greek. Arrian wanted to tell the world that this book's wisdom is so important that you have to keep its principles ready at hand and be prepared to apply them in action. Before I tell you the next step, to put everything you learned today into action. You can help me by subscribing to the channel and liking this video, so I can spread Stoicism further. Watch this video and learn how Marcus Aurelius overcame problems when life was against him, using the life-changing philosophy of Epictetus.